Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Scots on the Long Run podcast. We're just going to jump right into this one. I think somebody said this is going to be chaos, right? We've got 6 people, 6 athletes, 8 people total on the show today. I'm going to start with a bit of an explanation here. I got good news and bad news. The bad news is, if you've been keeping up with the pod, we haven't had an episode in
just 2 weeks.
When was 3 weeks.
Was you on?
You were on
after
Bridgewater. After Bridgewater.
Or I don't remember.
I think it's been 3 weeks because we were getting ready for.
Okay. Yeah. That's okay.
But the good news is the reason that the show's kind of been on hiatus is because we were going all in on putting 100% of our focus on winning a championship.
That's right.
And that championship has been clinched on Saturday on our home turf. Gordon's women's outdoor track and field team, your 2025 Conference of New England champions. Congratulations, Lizzie, Alivia, Carolyn, Amaris, all here on the pod today. As
we're actually excited.
As are a couple of individual champions. Henry Lonstein is here. And you, Daniel Chewning.
Hello.
You were looking like Michael Phelps with all the gold medals you had
around
around your neck.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And as always, Coach Miela is here as well. Coach, how are you?
I'm good.
Coach of the year.
Coach
Yes.
of the year.
That's right.
Come
That's
on.
right. Yeah, I'm more relaxed than I've been in the last 3 weeks. I'll say that. No, you're right though. I mean, like the last 3 weeks, it's all I've been able to think about. As much as I'd like to say yes, I listened to my wife and pay attention to my kids. I did the best I could, but my mind was always elsewhere for the last few weeks. So now I feel like I have come back to earth a little bit, and definitely feels good. Like I said, I feel like I can finally breathe a little easier now that it's done, and the fact that we won just makes it that much better. So
For sure.
I honestly don't know what we're gonna do. By the way, we're just kind of sending it. Usually it's just like one person we can kind of focus, and so we're just gonna it might be chaos.
I love chaos.
Yeah, so that's why we're going Scots on the Long Run today.
Scott, who came up with that name? That's a pretty good
I
name.
think you did.
I think I might have.
I also don't know whether I just connected the dot. Like you were wearing the championship shirt.
Which I stole from your office this morning.
Didn't realize.
I wasn't gonna take one because I was like, it's not my shirt to have.
Good point.
But then I realized I was gonna be on the podcast with our fellow champions, and I was like, I think it might be funny if I rep my favorite women's team.
And funny enough, they honored the women's team at chapel yesterday.
Yes.
Funny enough, I don't remember seeing you there.
I haven't been to chapel in weeks. I don't know if I could direct myself to chapel.
You don't even know where it is.
I'm not sure where it is.
Know where it is.
I've forgotten.
Wild.
I apologize. I would have been there, but I had to cover the circ desk.
Valid reason.
Equally valid reason.
Definitely, these two definitely did not have a reason. He's texting me in the middle of it.
I was. Yeah.
Will Hughes and Dylan Curtis were sitting up in the balcony. I kept looking at them.
Good for them.
They have credits they need to get in there. I'm confident they weren't just supporting it.
They just happened to be there at the same time.
Correct. Yeah. So I don't know where to start. Ben, where should we start?
I was just going to ask you that. Do you have anybody in particular you want to start with?
Well, I don't know. I think obviously girls. We can go with Amaris and Carolyn. You guys were here the last time the women won the championship in 2022. Come back. You've now won your second championship in your last season as a Fighting Scot. What was different about this group than the group in 2022?
So when I was prepping to post my Instagram photos,
Amaris is in charge of our Instagram.
I was on ChatGPT trying to find some captions, and one of the captions they came up with was like, my freshman year we won without even knowing what we were doing, but this year we won knowing the weight of every stride.
Wow.
And I was like,
did you use that?
No, I didn't.
Good for ChatGPT.
And I was like, I just feel like that actually kind of really summarized it up though, because like our freshman year, like I don't even think I like understood conference. I didn't even understand that we were like getting medals. I didn't understand like anything. It was like we won, and it was like I think like the lowest amount of points that anyone has ever won conference with before, like overall.
It's like 126, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like really good, and like we all worked really hard, and like it was a really good win for all of us, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So it was kind of really cool, like this year, like knowing what it meant and knowing how much harder it was, especially with Hartford joining in the conference and like counting this year after their transition years. It was kind of like, okay, like we all need to step up and we all need to work together, and we got like a good group of freshmen that came in and scored in positions or events that we haven't typically had scoring in before. And I don't know, I feel like it all just like came together and we all had our best days when it mattered.
How about you, Carolyn? What was your experience between the two championship teams?
It definitely was similar to what Amaris was saying. Our freshman year, I think we got not lucky, but we had a few like big point scorers, but we added it up. I think only like 9 or 10 people even scored at all on the women's side. Compared to this year, we have like a bigger team. We have the depth, so it felt a lot more like everyone is working together. Like there's so many people that are a part of this, which we definitely needed this year. I think the conference has also gotten more competitive, so then to be able to have a team that has been able to put in the work and compete with all those other teams was really exciting.
Oh, yeah. Well, put some perspective on where the conference was back then. Amaris, to win the 100 in 2022, you had to run 12:76. Amaris got 12:98 that day because she had ran the 400 just before that. The 200 was 26:43, and the 400
That's crazy.
was Amaris. You won the 400 at 60.57. So you just won the 400 at 58.04. Lizzie won you guys both ran 12:40 to go 1-2 in the 100. So that's over a quarter of a second faster there. And then I think if you ran 26.4, let's see, Jenna got 5th and she ran 26.65. So you would have gotten 5th. And that's just, I'm just pulling that up right now. I mean, I wonder, I'm sure it could go even deeper than that. Abby Bear won the 800 with a 2:30. So it just goes to show you how much the conference has gotten better in those couple events. And I mean, it's pretty neat to see how you guys have progressed with the conference, right? And I think that's just been the difference maker, at least with you two in particular, is you guys have kept working to, I guess, keep pace and create that gap between your competitors. But and this can be open it up to everybody here. What do you think made this team special? And I think I could say that for both men and women, because I think we both kind of had a great finish to the conference season. But I don't know. What do you guys think made this group different?
I think like the way that we all care for each other is super special. We had like a team meeting kind of like the night before conference, and like we are all able to like share our whys, like why we do this, and a lot of people talked about like the team and like the way that we're all able to support each other. I think on the days of conference too, like it was super clear that like everyone wanted their teammates to do their best, like really wanted them to do well. So I think that's huge. It's just like having the support from your teammates, knowing that like they have your back, like they want the best for you and are like there if you need encouragement or if you just need someone to talk to during the day. So I think that's something that's been super special for me, but I think is definitely special about our team in general.
To kind of piggyback off what you said, Henry, how many times did we say I love you to each other during conference?
Like 20, 30 times.
Like 20, 30 times. A lot of love, a lot of hugs. There's just like a lot of care on this team. And that's super special. So
I mean, it's like your coach's gift, you know? Family on 3. Like,
Oh, yeah.
when you asked the question, the first thing that came to my mind is like, we're all really good friends, but at the end of the day, it's like, this is a really good family. And I think it's like, what you guys were saying, it's like you all wanted everyone to do good, like individually. So it's like, you also wanted to do good for each other. I think that was a big difference.
Yeah. Good.
And you two especially have pushed one another the last 2 years from what I've seen, because I know we had you on the show, both of you, double champions in the 1 and the 2 last year. And of course, Chewy, you just more than just the 1 and the 2. How many? I think 5 gold medals overall.
5 gold
First
medals.
place, yeah. because of the 2 relays and the long jump, right? So I've seen how the relationship that you two have is really helped both of you continue to push to new heights. That's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean Henry's the reason I'm fast. Like, put it simply, he's the reason I'm fast. Like I mean, I remember the first day of practice ever when I showed up and I started like running against Henry. He beat me so bad that I got a cramp, and like I had to be like Matt McCluskey had to carry me off. So I wouldn't be anywhere near as fast as I am now if it wasn't for Henry, for real.
Yeah, I think we do have a unique relationship where it's like, I think, yes, we're great teammates and we push each other hard, but like we're also best friends when it comes to things that aren't track.
Of course.
I think that helps a lot because I think we understand that when we are practicing and racing, like I want the best for me and I want the best for him, and he wants the best for him and he wants the best for me. And so I think that's made it really fun to compete these past few years, and even just try to be an example for maybe some of our younger teammates of this is how you can compete with somebody and this is how you can practice with somebody while you're both just hoping the best for each other. So I think it's been so much fun. I think it's made us probably the best that we can be. I don't think I would be nearly as successful as I have been if it wasn't for having Chewy next to me practicing every day. And I think he would say the same. So
Absolutely.
And like kind of going off of that, it made me think of like Lizzie and I, like just an example of like family. Like in the 100, we like tied, but she beat me, and so like, and that was like really cool because then we just hugged right after, and it was like, yeah, I got second, but it didn't matter because my teammate and training partner got first, and that was so exciting, and I'm so proud of you for that. And like, I think Carolyn told me that somebody was like, oh, that's so cute. It was like you're like passing off the baton to like the next conference champion in one of the events. And I was like, you know what? Like, you're so right. And like, as I was thinking about that, I was like, I didn't want anybody else to win but you. Like, you know, if somebody was going to beat me, like, I'd so much rather it be you. You know what I mean? And I think that just kind of like sums up like how all of us view all of our team members on this team. It's like you want them to succeed. And even if they do better than you, it's like still very exciting. And you're not, like maybe like in the moment you're like, oh, that kind of sucks, but like it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's really exciting and you're happy for them. So yeah, that's just kind of another example.
Well, how have you guys, we've got obviously Chewy, Henry, and Amaris and Lizzie, and then even Carolyn and Rachel. Like, I'm very curious how you guys live. There's not a whole lot of people that can like.
you're in a league of your own.
We love each other.
We push each other in the 10K. Yeah,
We're
I'm sort of at a distance.
I guess I'm curious how you guys manage that. I mean, I really do think this sport is interesting in that sense that it is so quantifiable, right? Like, you know how fast you are or how fast you've been and how fast you're trying to be, you know how fast your teammates are. And then there's, you know, I think you've all had the success you've had because you're the competitors that you are, right? So how do you manage that? How do you balance that? Like, I want to be my best, but then I'm also, I don't know, I'm happy for this person, but I also kind of want to beat them. I don't know, how do you guys balance those things?
That's a good question. It's a great question. Well,
Scots on our podcast.
You've been here a time or two.
I don't know. I think for me, it's super interesting because, like, yes, I got 5 golds, but, like, just as easily, like, Henry could have, like, Henry was with me in the 100 and in the 2, and then Will could have totally gotten me in long jump. So, like, I can't be complacent. Like, I'm not safe. And so, like, and I know that. And I think for me, I don't know, it's definitely, like, there's definitely an interesting tension there because, like, I do want to succeed and I do want to win and I want to compete with my teammates, but at the same time, just like Amaris said, I couldn't be happier if they were the ones that ended up like beating me and doing super well. I couldn't be more happy and more ecstatic. So it's an interesting tension, but I kind of think that just like, I don't know, that's kind of just like what our team is though. Like, you asked what makes our team special. I think that is what makes our team special, is that, like, I'm not the only one that feels that way. Like, that's just kind of the culture that we have. Whereas, like yes, we're going to do our best, but also, at the same time, like, if our teammates do super well, we're going to be, like, enthralled by that. So, I just think it's part of the culture that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, believe it or not, someone actually came up to me after the 100 and was like, "Do you two have like hard beef?" And I was like,
Who was it? Is this somebody on our team?
No. Like, not even an athlete, just some random person who
Just
was
a spectator.
Yeah.
Right on.
I was like,
Someone
was like,
Well, the
"Do you-"
security is real tight, I guess.
I was like, "Do you guys have hard beef?" And I was like, "No, like why?" And they're like, "Well, like you two were competing for first." And I was like, "Well, why does it matter? Like, no matter what, like, I don't know. What we wanted to do was to get 1 and 2,
Right.
and I mean that was like kind of the point of how to get, like, we wanted the points, and like, I literally remember finishing. I was like, wow, I feel so bad. Like, she's a senior. Like, I wanted her to have her gold medal, but it was like, I don't know, like. Henry and Amaris, like, they brought us into the sport when we first started, and it's like they just have been here the whole time, and it's like, I don't know, it's very sad knowing that in like a week it's like
I don't even want to think about it.
I know.
Can we not
Don't
talk
say
about
that.
it?
Don't make us cry on the
This is
show.
not-
I know it's
this-
personally.
This is not that podcast.
But it's just like they've done so well in like, this is how I recover, this is how I eat, this is what I do, this is what's been good for me, like, you try it out. And it's like, I don't know, in a way, like, you know, they've kind of been like raising us up in the sport, and it's been really good. So
Well, and to your point, doesn't matter who's in first or second. It's 18 points.
exactly.
Either way, so
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
before
that's
before every race, Lizzie and I would look at each other and be like 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like,
The same thing.
and like we wouldn't even like. It's not like, oh, I'm 1 or Lizzie's 1. Like, we're not like assigning who's 1 or
Right.
2. Like,
Right.
we know it'll be one of us, and like it's going to be like we're going to be equally excited no matter who it was. So it was like her and the 1 as 1, and me and the 2 as 1, and then the other person was 2. So it
Yeah.
was like just kind of cool to have 1 and 2 like both ways in each of those 2 events. But yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, like, you know, we talked about, you guys talk about the community. You guys are right. I think Julie said that. Hearing you guys talk, it does feel like you're competing with your siblings, like every day, and then hopefully, I mean, you know, I guess family dynamics change. You know, people's families are all different, but hopefully at the end of the day, when your siblings do well in whatever it is, you are like genuinely happy for them, right? But I mean, I have 2 older sisters, and for me, again, I still remember we were on vacation and we were at some arcade and we were playing air hockey, and my sister she beat me, but it was a really close game. I'm telling you, I was like,
really close.
I must have been 10 years old or something, and I was a brat when I would lose, and my dad had to like talk me off the ledge, and I just remember that, and when I think back, it's like I didn't care who it was, like I wanted to beat them, and I think having that rivalry every day, or that reminder every day in practice, right? That like, hey, if I don't push myself, like it's just a reminder. There's other people out there, regardless whether it's your teammate or not, that are working hard, and it does kind of help you lock in a little bit more. I want to hear from everybody on this one. I want to hear about moments when you think back to this past weekend, and you conclude. I mean, even that I thought that Thursday night team meeting was really good, but whether it was again the team meeting Thursday night, Friday, you know, we had more events than we had scheduled because of the weather, or just Saturday. Like, what are the moments that first come to mind that you don't want to forget, that you will never forget? Liv, you haven't talked in a while, so why don't you just go
There's a shocker.
I guess when I think about it right away, I think I competed on Friday in Hammer.
Mhm.
And like you said, like there are more events than were scheduled, but when I was going, I feel like there was kind of like a lull. So there were like so many of my teammates were down by the cage. Like I was like telling people, I was like, normally like we're kind of throws are like banished to like some foreign part of
where we like
wherever we are.
For good reason.
Anyways, they normally we're banished, so we don't really have a ton of people watching us all the time. And so I don't know, I think about like when I was throwing, right outside the cage, right where I was looking, were all of my teammates. And so just like hear them like cheering, like, yes, like you got it, like when I came out of the cage to like talk to Coach Tier, like to talk to my teammates, like everyone wanted to talk to me and be like, hey, like congrats, like you're doing so well, like keep going, like you got this. I just think like again that goes to just show the family aspect of our team, and like I felt so loved and so supported, and like no matter what, like my teammates were proud of me and like they had my back, and like even if I didn't throw over 50, if I didn't hit 52, 53 like I wanted to, like they were still proud of me, which gave me like a sense of peace, if that makes sense. Like it's okay, like you still have support, and like these people are still gonna love you no matter what. So I think that was like huge for me, and like a moment that I don't want to forget is like just like your teammates just loving you. Yeah.
First big moment was probably my long jump, because like you said, there's kind of like when I was jumping, there's kind of a lull. Like everything else was done, so or most of the other things were done. So like a lot of people were just standing around the pit, which is super fun, and it's like the only kind of energy that you get at conference. So like that was a blast, and like all of my friends from school were here, as well as like all of our teammates. My whole family was there, and being able to.
I know your dad was there.
Oh,
He's basically competing.
exactly. I'm gonna talk about him more in a second, but like everybody was there, and everybody got to watch me win long jump for the first time, and that was super cool. To just like be supported by like all the people that I care about, and that care about me. So I felt super loved. That was awesome. And then actually, my dad was the best part of conference for me, because he was at the finish line for every race. Like I remember like
Live stream hero.
Oh no, he was a live stream hero. Like he was next to me for one of my interviews with Jose. Like,
I saw that too.
Like he was there the whole time, and it was just such a special moment to have like my dad, who's seen me work super hard for the last few years, like who was like comforting me last year when like I had a I failed
conference.
Was
below
like
average for you.
Yeah, conference was rough for me last year.
Yeah.
It was really bad. Like he was a shoulder that I cried on last year, and then for him to be here and watch me succeed was
so cool,
super cool. It was really special.
Well, you're about to get the baton in the 4x4.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, everybody lines up for the third and fourth legs. You're literally in lane one. Mm-hmm. Your dad is less than a foot. I mean, it felt like
I felt like you were me. Did you see? Like we were like,
I felt like your foreheads were touching.
No, they weren't.
As Peter McGinn is coming down the straightaway, your dad is literally in your face. And I remember watching this. I said to someone, I don't know, I was like, can somebody please get a picture of this?
Yeah.
This is such a cool moment.
We did.
And so, yeah, I just thought that was definitely cool, because it was obviously, exactly everything you just said. Like, just your dad had been there every step of the way, and then people were hyped for that 4x4, which broke the school record, by the way. First time,
did it?
Absolutely.
First time we broke that 4x4 record since I've been here. So, Joe Tibbles, if you're listening, and we know that you are,
we love you.
We love you, but
we got you.
We got you.
But he was there, and
he was
really
happy.
Yeah. To your point as well, said he was happy.
It's my personal coach
No.
for the day, carrying my bag and electrolytes all
That's
around.
Right. That's right.
Is that your highlight for the weekend?
That was pretty cool. He just followed me around with all my stuff. It's great.
Yeah. Other moments.
I think my highlight was, it was that 4x4.
Yeah.
The night, or I guess 2 nights before, on that Thursday, when people were talking about their why, Steven was talking about
Steve Janino, shout out.
Eric Liddell, is that it, in Chariots of Fire?
Eric Little.
Eric Little. In the movie Chariots of Fire. And he
real
talked
person,
about,
by the way.
What?
I think it's a real person, a real quote.
Yeah,
sure.
it is. And he quoted that movie in saying that Eric, he feels the pleasure of God when he runs. And, that, hit me. I was like, that's sick.
Yeah.
And I've heard about the movie, but I've never watched the movie. So I watched the movie.
Did you really?
Yeah, on, I think Friday, maybe? Yeah, I watch movies. Yeah.
Right on, dude.
You can check it out at the library.
So Jenks Library.
Shout out Jenks Library.
But I don't know, for some reason, Steven was saying that, and I was like, I've never thought about that. And so it was on my mind a lot, and I was like, I'll just, watch it. And the movie, honestly, it was, okay. It was an okay movie. But it was so inspiring to hear somebody say that about running.
Sure.
And so I was trying to think about that a lot on conference day, because I was like, there's nothing more I can do on conference. It's like, I'm just going to go and I'm running as fast as I can. I can't train any harder now. And I remember being in that 4x4 and coming off of the third turn. And the first person I see is Anissa.
Oh, yeah.
Screaming
Yeah.
her lungs off at me. Like same thing, like Ben, practically in lane 1. And I was like, gosh, that fires me up.
Yeah.
And then you turn the corner and it's literally every single teammate is lined
shoulder
up
to
on
shoulder.
that home stretch.
Yeah.
And I saw them and my eyes went straight and I was like I felt that in that moment. I was like I'm feeling the joy of the Lord in this 4x4 because it just felt so like, yes, I was thinking about the race. Yes, I was thinking about running fast, but I was just so grateful to be coming down that home stretch. And that was probably my favorite moment because then I handed the stick off to Peter and I always look at you after I do my leg.
Yeah,
you never tell me my time, so I can always tell whether you give me one of these
Oh, yeah.
or if you're just like, and you gave me the fattest fist bump I've ever seen after that leg. So I was like, okay, we're good. I don't care what time it is, but we look good. And then I watched my teammates absolutely kill the end of that and break a record that I've been trying to break for 3 years now.
Yeah.
So that was probably my favorite moment.
That was probably your best 400 that I've seen. You got the baton,
It was.
and you smoked those guys. It was like I watched the recording back like 3 times, and you dust them as soon as you get the baton.
Yeah.
Fires me up.
Yeah.
What was your split?
50.2.
2-7.
Ugh,
We'll see if Ethan Minyard can match that.
that's gross.
I don't think he has that grind in him.
No, I don't think so. I
Shout out,
think
Ethan.
Carolyn was going to say something.
Oh.
You were going to share your moment, weren't
I
you?
can go, yeah.
Please.
So, I got back from cooling down for the 800, and I don't remember if it was Amaris or Rachel. One of them pulls me aside. They're like, we've done the calculations. We need between the 200 and the 5K, we need at least, 24 points or something. It must have been Rachel. But she's like between Lizzie, Amaris, and, us two in the 5K, we need to get, this certain amount of points. And I feel like in other moments you might be like, oh, my gosh, that's so much pressure, whatever. But I was like, you know what? I have so much confidence that, all 3 of them are going to execute this thing, amazingly. There's no way they don't. So then I'm like, okay, obviously I'm going to, I'm a little tired. I'm going to pull it together. I'm not messing up this 5K if I know all 3 of them are, going to execute their things and we need these points. So then it was just kind of wow, how lucky are we to be, in a situation where it's yeah, there's a lot of pressure that we have to do this, but I'm so confident in, all of them. So then it's it's just wow, this is a great opportunity. We hadn't won it yet, obviously, but you're okay, I'm going to be part of something, big here in this moment.
Yeah. Well, I got to give you some praise. I got to make sure that people understand that Carolyn is not an 800 runner, right? 5K, 10K girl, had a great 10K earlier in the season, but when we were in Myrtle, she ran the 15, she ran the 800, kind of for fun, knowing it was your last year. We were just let's get you. And Coach Luco made the call to not put her in the 15, have her focus on the 800. She ends up getting second. And we've talked, you guys joke about how, that's what I was thinking about for the weeks leading up to it, right? It's just, I've done so many projections and tried to understand what the possible outcomes were. That was not one of them, right? I definitely didn't think. I thought she would do well. I just didn't know. Especially given the fact that she's going to go against people who train more directly for it. So the fact that she goes out and gets second, and then can come back. You got third in the 5K, right? Again, and then the last thing I want to make sure I emphasize is one thing. The words you said there when you were sharing that is just that you had confidence, right? And I do think, especially when I first got here, for a lot of you, I think 2 years ago when I got here, if I asked you to do some of the things you did this past weekend, I'm not sure that level of confidence would have been there. And I think that before the results were known, I think you all had a confidence in your ability before the championships got going. And that, in and of itself, is a level of growth that I think is really impressive, and I really wanted to make sure we didn't move on before kind of highlighting that specific aspect of it. Were you going to say something?
Well, you said she's not an 800-meter runner. She took second in the conference, and you were only a second and a half off the school record.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
In the
I
800.
have to look that up.
So,
She's
I think
probably on the top 5 list.
Yeah,
She's probably
has to be.
third or second.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
She didn't even
yeah.
show. She went right to the 5K. She didn't even show. We still need to hear from Lizzie and Amaris about your moments.
Okay. One of my moments was I think when we were warming up for the 4x1, it was the beginning of the meet, so like it was when it was like the rainiest, and it like the rain just like started picking up too after we got out there. But like me, Lizzie, Jenna, and Maya, we were like, bring it on, rain! You know what I mean? Like we were like fully embracing it, and we were like laughing and having a great time. You know, still focusing on our warm up, but like it was like we weren't letting the rain like distract us. We were like, you know what? Like we're tough. Like we're having a great time here. Like the rain was kind of fun. It wasn't like the opposite, or it wasn't negatively affecting us. We were embracing the rain. That's what we were saying. So that was just like a nice moment of just like us knowing like the big moment we were going to have of running the 4x1, but also like trying to take in every second and enjoy even some scenarios that maybe wouldn't be super enjoyable. And then also my 400, I was like really nervous for that one. So especially running from the
Lane 8 in the
Lane-
slower heat.
Yeah, like that was terrifying for me because I feel like what Lizzie says, she needs to slay the dragon of the 400. That's kind of what I was thinking that day. I was like, you know what? I'm attempting the triple. Like other times I've done this, it hasn't gone so hot. And I was like, but I know that no matter what happens, my team's supporting me. I know I'm ready. And then I kind of just like went out. I went out and I did it. And I ran 58.04, which is really good for me. So I'm excited about that, but like all I was thinking about during that final straightaway, because I literally ran the whole entire thing by myself, I was just like, you know, like what kept me going is like thinking about like moments in the rain with the 4x1 and just like working hard with my team all year, and like you, coach, like believing in me, like all of those thoughts are going through my head like at that last final straightaway. I was like, I have to keep going. I was like, no one's here to push me, but I have to keep going. Yeah. So that was like kind of just one of the other moments that was like, I guess more like an internal inside my brain moment. But that was just another thing that came to mind when I was thinking about like one of the things I probably wouldn't forget.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just to follow up, you're third all time in the 8th, and your Myrtle time was actually 8th all time, so it's in the top 10 as well.
Maybe she is an 800.
Okay,
Yeah.
Carolyn.
Yeah, that 8.
2 top 10
We missed the mark
There you
here.
go. You were prepared, I think, to do 5 events. Obviously, you didn't run the 4x4 because I think we had more than a 10-point lead at that point, so the championship was already wrapped up. But were you ready to go in the 4x4 if you were needed?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as soon as I finished my 2, coach was like, all right, eat like you're going to run the 4x4, like get off your legs like you're going to run the 4x4, like get ready to warm up like we're going to run the 4x4. And like I went into the day being prepared to do so. But then once we realized that, like, you know, everybody else killed it, then I was like, okay, I'm going to, like, I don't need to do this. You know, like, they got it. Like, you know, it was kind of, like, a really cool moment of, like,
Yeah.
I
At that
don't need to.
point, well, Jenna jumped up a spot than what we had projected in the 2. And, yeah, I mean, again, I didn't know how Carolyn was going to double in the 5K. I didn't know how some of the other girls in the race were going to double in the 5K. Needed to confirm. I texted Alivia, I think 3 or 4 times about the women's shot put because those were the 2 races left after the 200 that we needed kind of final confirmation on before the 4x4. And I texted Alivia, hey, like, you know, she's like, hey, here's the order. And I was like, are you 100%? Are you like sure? And she's like, yes. And I said, are you like 1,000%
I was
sure?
like, no.
And I was like, I need to know, right? And then even once I knew shot and I knew what was what was unfolding in the 5K, I still waited until Carolyn was done, right? Like crossed the line, no problems. I was like, okay, that's when I knew we were gonna win it all, and that's when I could tell Amaris like, hey, let's go make nationals. So
you
take
can't
the 4x4.
You can't see that in the podcast.
All I could say, I mean,
You can't see that in the podcast.
I think we could say it on the podcast.
Oh, man.
I told Rachel the day before, I was like, we need to do good in the 5K because if we do like good enough, maybe Amaris won't have to run the 4x4. She won't be too tired. So remember that.
So
remember that.
So you got to step up.
When did you make the
man.
pass for 3rd? Because I know you were in 4th for much of the
That's
back
like
half.
500 left.
500 left? That sounds about right.
Dang, that's clutch.
What a queen.
That's clutch.
sick.
Love that. Lizzie, what's your moment from the weekend?
Kind of like Liv was saying, like on Friday, having the
Yeah, long
entire
jumps are sweet,
team
yeah.
like by you was like, I don't know, like Chewy was saying, we don't normally have a ton of people nearby. It's like very isolated, but I don't know. I think I really like wanted to jump 5 meters again, and it was 5:27, and I just remember hearing them say 5, and then when everyone started screaming, like I could have probably just like fell on the ground and like started crying, but I was like, I still need to keep going. But just seeing like what Henry brought up, your fist bump, you have this iconic fist bump. Like when you did that, I was like, oh my gosh. And then just seeing like Coach Decker be so excited, like I just wanted to make him proud, and like I could tell he was like just so pumped. And like he texted me like 2 days in a row. He's like, good job. Like he was just so proud, and like that was amazing. And even like I know we have a lot of supporters, but my grandfather being like
Rich.
our team's biggest supporter.
Shout out. Always in the comments.
He was so stressed. He's like, I need to go watch Liv. I want to watch you. Like, will I have time? And like, he got to watch Liv throw, and he was so excited.
Had to get it in.
Every time, like, I look down the hill. He's holding his phone, recording Liv. It was so precious. And then he got to see me jump, and then, I mean, the whole weekend was wonderful. But I think that was probably one of my favorites. Was just that entire thing. So,
Oh, yeah. That's great.
That was so cool.
That's great. How about you, Ben?
Ooh, good
I
question.
was just
Oh,
follow up with Lizzie
follow up.
first, and then I can give. When you crossed the line in the 100, I mean, and again, we talked about this. Like, not that obviously it doesn't matter who's first or second. But it was 7/1000 of a second. Did you think that you had maybe gotten Amaris, or
I had no idea.
you had no idea?
I think it was like, I want to say it was maybe like the last 30 or 20 meters where I was like, I really feel like I could catch her. Like I wanted us to like literally just finish the line together, or I try to get like right on her hip so fast, and I literally, as silly as it sounds, I literally was like Wickets. I was like, I need to start stepping down faster, and I did that, and then when we finished, I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't know what happened. I was like, it didn't feel real. Like, I don't know, we finished so close, and everyone was like, kind of like, who got it.
I didn't know we had the technology to go down to the 1,000th of a
Oh,
second.
come on. Come on.
Well,
this is the conference in New
I
England,
know.
baby. Come on, Ben. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fantastic job to all 6 of you. Obviously. But yeah. Sorry. So you were gonna ask.
What's your moment, man?
Just the whole day. The
Whole
whole
day.
2 days. Honestly.
Soaking it in, yeah.
Which I know is kind of a cop-out
It
answer,
is.
but I.
We'll let you think about it. We'll come back next week. You'll tell us
I
about
like
your
honestly the steeple on Friday was a lot of fun.
Dude.
What a pull.
And-
Yeah.
Good answer.
Great answer.
Good answer.
Great
Yeah,
answer.
I know neither Liv or Kaylee are here right now, but they both ran
Just give 'em a shout. That's
fantastic.
fine,
Yeah. I think Kaylee was like 25 seconds faster when she went in conference last year.
Yeah.
And just missed out on
Hadn't ran it,
qualifying. Yeah. And Liv did qualify, but just missed out on Julia's record in the steeple. So we'll see if she can get that
at regionals, yeah.
regionals this weekend. But that was a lot of fun. So getting that in on Friday, and then I have to give you a shout out for overseeing
How about it, huh?
That's my coach.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
hosting the
Coach of the
whole
year. Coach of the year.
meeting.
Coach
Yeah,
of the
Coach
year.
of the Year.
That's my coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I guess unlike Paul George, taking time away from the podcast did result in a championship.
He's been sitting on that one. He's been thinking on that one. That was good.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a fantastic weekend all
For
around.
sure.
Yeah, it's
For
hard
sure.
to just pick out one moment, which I guess is why we have 6 people on the podcast.
That's right. That's exactly
a lot
why.
to talk about.
That's
So.
exactly why. Yeah, man. I mean, if we don't mind me sharing
Sure.
my moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach,
Is
what's
that
your
all right?
favorite moment?
Yeah, I mean,
Very
nobody
exciting.
ever asked me any questions.
Yeah.
Podcast. No, I mean, guys, Thursday night was really special to me.
Yeah.
For the listeners, we got together. Everybody wrote on a piece of paper like what their why was, like why they do this, and we didn't force everybody to share, especially with a big group, but like people just started sharing, and some of the things that were said, and I'm not going to try to repeat them, but because I don't want to screw them up, but I just remember standing there, and hearing person after person just share not only was I surprised at the people who were sharing, that they felt comfortable enough to share in that venue, but what they were saying was so real and genuine, and I don't know, it was just a special moment. And I talked to the captains beforehand. I think I'd said, I think if we're going to do anything, it needs to be a reminder that we're in this together. And I felt like we walked away from that gathering feeling like one, like we were just one unit. And I know I woke up on Friday morning unusually relaxed, given the situation that we were about to walk into. And I'll tell you what, I've got this long commute now, and I just think about the team all the time, and that's when I was getting super stressed, right? So I would be stressed when I'd go home, but when I would come and be around the team, I just had a ton of confidence. So that just kept reminding me that when this group was together, there was just a unity and a strength within the group that was really special. And it was something, like I said, when I was around the team, I had no worries. But when I would go home, and that's where I was almost like, any anxiety I had was just on my part. Because again, when we were together, it felt like we were kind of unstoppable, So whether it was the rain or events moving, or we were going to score top 6, then we were scoring top 8. I mean, just like all these things that, kind of changed last second. I don't know. This team stayed focused. And I would say, we had more event champions on the men's side than any other team. And, I think our men's team probably had, I would say it's one of the more impressive showings for a team. I think Roger and Hartford are good teams. I just think they just had more depth than us, but I would take our guys over them any day. And obviously our women walked away champions. But again, I think both sides equally performed to their best, which is what you want, right? Felt like event after event, people were jumping up seed times, people were hitting personal best, and they were doing it at the right time, in the right moment, in the biggest moment. And I don't know, it was a special weekend overall. But like I said, that Thursday night meeting kind of felt like, I think it gave me the sense of calm and confidence that this group was ready for something big. Now I don't know.
I got fired up.
I know.
Now what, Ben?
Well, I don't know. It is kind of, just for me, it's like the end of an era in some ways, because and Amaris, I know I was telling you this Saturday morning. You three are the last class that Weichert had.
Yeah.
And for me, Rachel and Dan are the last two that I was ever teammates with when I was on the team. So it feels a little weird to be that far
Removed.
removed and ahead. And I don't want to say removed, because I'm still involved in giving back to the program
right.
where I can here. But yeah, time just flies in that sense. And you've been here for 3 years now.
Crazy.
Yeah, how have you seen the program continue to grow, and what do you see going forward here, I guess?
Well, funny enough, we're about right after this, we are going to go on a few nights stay down in New London, Connecticut for our regional championship. And
Here we are.
I was thinking about that as we were picking up the vans today. I was thinking, well, just in a more practical, logistical way, I mean, we're taking more overnight trips. We are doing everything we can to get our athletes in a position to get the best competition they can, so that they can perform at their best. And so, yeah, I don't think in years past we've had the athletes that, frankly, would be worth that level of investment, right? And now I think that's becoming the new expectation, right? Lizzie was talking about kind of the standard that Amaris and Henry had created in terms of, really it's in the lifestyle, right? Rachel has done this, Carolyn has done this, obviously I just mentioned those two, it's not just practicing hard, right? And I don't need to give, this team step-by-step instructions though, I mean, again, if we're friends on Instagram, I'll send you reels on nutrition or whatever. But I don't give them clear cut, do this, do that, do this, do that. But there's a sense of commitment where people just own it. And like I said, it goes beyond practice. And I think that's been the biggest shift since I've got here. Is instead of it just being something that I do from 3 to 5 every day, it's something when I wake up, I think about it, right? I'm stretching before I go to bed. I'm making sure, like, I'm intentional about hydrating. Just all those things that make the difference. And like I said, I think that's the legacy that you said this is the end of an era. I think that's the legacy that this era is leaving behind. And I think that's going to be why this program is going to continue to be competitive for years to come,
Well, I mean, we could be here all day. I think
certainly
with the
could
amount
be.
of standout performances that we had. Just before we go, because I know
Yeah,
you do obviously have
we're
to get
on
on
the
the
road.
road to get ready for regionals. Are there any final thoughts that you have, or any standout performances that you want to shout out here?
I don't know. Do you guys have anything?
Peter's 4 hurdles.
Peter broke the record,
Facts.
broke a school
Broke
record
his
in the
own
400
record.
hurdles. Yep. Peter broke his own record in the 400 hurdles. He does that every year. He's just like waits till the very end to have his best performance, but
It's a clutch time performance.
Yeah.
gotta love the whatever, like the Nissan clutch performer or whatever. Yeah, Peter, I just think, like I said, what made me nervous going into this weekend was we had a lot of people projected to like go 1-2 or whatever. So there's not a lot of opportunity to go above projections. But Emily Bankston did that in the 400. Jenna Lindsay did that in the 400, and she did that in the 200. Even Joy in the 400 hurdles. Like, there were just time and time again. Oh, Justin snagging we got 7th in the 100, right?
Oh, yeah, he got points.
Dan Erickson got 8th in both hurdle races. These are, like I said, it just felt like every time I turned around, somebody was achieving above their seed time. And again, I'm hoping that this is not only a lesson for the team in a competitive standpoint as we move forward, that like, hey, your seed time really doesn't matter, go out and compete. But that as as they go into their lives, that there's a level of confidence that just because I haven't done it doesn't mean that I can't do it. And I feel like that's what a lot of people did this weekend, is they did something they haven't done before because they believed it could happen, and they executed as if it would.
That's a bar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
She's on
I would have,
fire.
if I
Write
had
that
pen and
down.
paper, I would write that down.
I mean, hey, it's recorded.
Yeah.
So,
Let's get back to it.
yeah, that's what I got.
All right.
Well, we'll see you
Wanna
next
wrap it
week.
up then?
Well, yeah, we got regionals coming
Yep.
up.
We'll
And,
do one after that. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we're doing a couple more.
All right.
You know what I mean?